All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today, I'm going to talk about the mayor of Pikeville, North Carolina, Mr. Garrett Johnston, or Johnston, like Johnston County. But Mr. Johnston is the mayor of the 720 population town in the outskirts of Wayne County. Now, he was recently recorded a couple of months back with a conversation with two people who were classified as town residents. And the conversation was about 4 hours long. One of the people that were recording the conversation was an individual that Mayor Johnston was trying to get to run for the vacant seat. One of the vacant seats on the Board of Commissioners or the City Council, or the Board of Commissioners in Pikeville. So evidently there's like two vacant seats. There's supposed to be 5 people. Evidently it's only 3. And then there's this mayor. Now this mayor could be classified as Donald Trump-like in his behavior. During this 4-hour conversation, there are several things that he's trying to unveil to take full control, full power of the Pikeville city government. They said that, you know, and I'm going to go through it. This article is from Wayne Week, by the way. I might put a couple of the quotes that this guy said, but basically what he's trying to do is trying to change the form of city government. Evidently they're in one form of city government, and he wants to change the form of city government so that he and the Board of Commissioners have the most control. Now, he's already changed the government because it was stated to start on July 1st. So he has made this change, and what's concerning about the change is there was supposed to be an item on the city's agenda, and he was supposed to make this known to the public. Hey, we're considering changing the government of the city. We're going to have this meeting, and he did not make that public. And the way people found out about it is somebody happened to be walking by the town hall or the city hall and saw the advertisement for this meeting, and they said and pretty much they said that are we going to do a public hearing before we get to the agenda, or is this part of the agenda? So basically what he did was he said, well, nah, we're just going to sneak this in the agenda to vote for this change of government. So with the change of government, he is now in control of the $1 million budget now, and he intends to do what he wants. And like I said, I might put some of these quotations up there, but I'm gonna outline some of the things that this mayor plans to do. Now, what he wants to do, and this is the quote, he said, let's take our downtown back from the poor people and make it trendy again. Now, I'm from Goldsboro, been in Goldsboro a long time. I've never heard of downtown Pikeville being trendy, but nevertheless, he wants to once again take control over how this money is spent. Now, a quote, one of these quotes says, all these ideas come out of my head. I'm a visionary leader, he said. I don't mean this in a bad way, but there's very few people that have enough imagination to spend or manage $1 million. And he says, just know that there is something called Operation Clean Sweep that is ready to go into effect, and we can pick them off one at a time. Now, what he's talking about there is he's intended to fire certain city employees, even the town manager, Mr. Tim Biggerstaff. I think that's how you say his name. Mr. Tim Biggerstaff, he's trying to get rid of him because Tim is actually sort of a whistleblower in which he alerted the county lawyer or the city lawyer about some things that Mr. Johnston was doing, which I'm going to get into that later. But he also insulted the residents. He said that most Pikeville residents don't know what the hell is going on. Some people don't know that the state took us over, which means they don't even know that we've been freed from the state. Now, what does he mean by that? I think it was a few years back that Pikeville was in such disarray. They weren't able to meet their budget. They weren't able to make certain payments. Then the government came in and took them over. So now he's saying, well, now I got some freedom. The government has let us go. State Representative John Bell, and he is one who's I guess been instrumental in building up Pikeville. And so he's using, and I'm talking about Mr. Johnston, he's using his perceived relationship with Representative Bell, telling all the people, or even these people in this secret meeting, that Mr. Bell is on board with how he plans to, do the clean sweep and, make all these changes and do what he wants to do with the money. He said he relishes his reputation as someone who makes waves. He said, when you think of me, think of a hurricane. He said, when you think of me, you got to think in the millions. I'm a flipping hurricane. You'll figure that out before long. I'm all about making waves. Now, also, this is what he said. He said, once Operation Clean Sweep is in place, we would replace employees with interns and volunteers through a program he said he kind of snuck in there, which means he snuck that in the plans. And he said that, guess what? I'm never paying the whole salary to anybody. I'm never paying retirement. And so this is what this guy has in the works for the town of Pikeville. I don't know if he's from Pikeville. He sounds, his attitude, and this is no disrespect to, anybody from up north, but he sounds like a northerner. Even in the beginning of the article, this Ken Fine mentions the word rednecks, that he considers the people of Pikeville a bunch of rednecks who don't know what's going on. And so he's coming there with these grandiose plans, but also he took some shots at the chief of police, Rodney Jman. Now, he said that cops have daddy issues, and the police chief is a narcissist who has to go really quick. And also he admitted that he says he's breaking the law by even talking about the police chief. Now, there you see the police chief, Mr. Rodney Jman. He called the police chief a no-neck, big-ass narcissist. Now, those are his words, not mine. I'm reading verbatim. But he said that, he was not fit for the position. And he said that there's not another agency in Wayne County that will hire him. Now, he also talked about the department as a whole. Now, this is where, it gets kind of, I guess, insulting. He said the law enforcement crowd, you're getting guys with daddy issues that need a badge to feel powerful. Knowing that we're going to be dealing with those kinds of personalities, we just need strong leadership over them to keep them in line. We know they're coming with issues. Now, I assume he's talking about, certain police officers. And, many people will, they wouldn't say daddy issues. They will say, Napoleon complexes, or they would, they say that they were bullied in high school, so they have to perform a certain way. Not saying that this is true, but I've heard that, with people dealing with law enforcement officers who are a little bit overzealous in the performance of their duties. And he said that the town's most recent hires, meaning new officers, they need to go because they worship Chief Jman. And they said if he was left in too long, that he's going to call trouble. Now, also, he said the police department takes up about $400,000 of the budget. And so he said that leaves nothing for nobody else. He said that needs to be torn through. Now this is something that I may, in fact, agree with him on if this is true. Now, Police Jarman declined comments, but he states, and that's Johnston. Johnston states that the police have allowed a crack house to operate in the town without consequences. He said they have this house that is providing crack and marijuana, and it's well known. He said that house could have been dealt with long ago, but they're trying to take care of it in the spring, and that happens to coincide with Jarman's big K9 program. He said narcissist, and also he mentions that he's allowing this to go on for his time. Now, that's something I must say that I've seen. I've been back in Goldsboro for about it's going on 5 years. Well, 4 years now. And of course, I'm not in that lifestyle no more, but I can ride around town and I see blatant drug houses and drug operations. It's clear as day. So if I know that, and I don't even live here, but I just got the keen sense of now all these police, and I'm sure they know that. So I can say that I can see that even in Goldsboro, how drug houses operate with impunity, because for whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for the big roundup. I don't know, but I cannot say that he may be too far off, and I'm talking about Johnston on that, and the fact that the police failed to comment on it further believes me to to say, well, there may be some truth to that. Now, we all know about Mike Cox and the much maligned Chris Worth and all their misdeeds. So some of these cops may be directly involved with that type of behavior. Now, the next, and I'm not going to hold y'all. Y'all can go to the Wayne Weekend and order that, or pick it up, or get you a subscription. But it's a very informative article about the next thing he did was he received gifts in violation of a state statute. Now, Garrett Johnston says they say that he received 2 boxes full of gifts from his daughter's soccer coach, Mr. How do you say his name? Mr. Jim. What's his name? Jim Javargis. Now, he's a soccer coach from Mid-Atlantic Christian University in Elizabeth City. He apparently has some plans to build a big human foosball stadium, or in layman's terms, a soccer stadium in Pikeville that is going to bring soccer to the area. Now, evidently, this guy came to the town hall looking for Johnston, who was out of town, or who was out of the office, and said, okay, I'm bringing these big gifts too. I have 2 gifts. I was out of town for his anniversary, so I missed him, but today I'm going to bring in some anniversary gifts to him. Now, that's all well and good if this guy was a friend or there was not a conflict of interest. However, this guy, Mr. Javargis, who's bringing the gifts, are also in contact, in cahoots, in cohort, and in contract with the city of Pikeville to bring that stadium to the town. So when Mr. Tim Bickerstaff, who talked to Mr. Javargis when he came in, he said, okay, well, look, I don't know what's going on. you know, he's not here, but you can leave the gifts back there in, you know, in the room. So soon as the dude left, Mr. Bickerstaff emailed the town's lawyer, and that's Mr. Lorello, the town attorney, Harry Lorello. Definitely a well, nah, I'm not gonna say a mobster, but that's an Italian name. But yeah, but that's I like that name, Harry Lorello. He emailed him and told him what was going down. The guy told him, look, okay, well, you know, depends on what you're saying, because Bickerstaff didn't want to give no names. He was like, look, I witnessed a city official. I don't want to say no names. Now he trying to, you know, play it neutral. But the guy was like, look, man, you got to tell me just some details and I can explain to you what's going on. So I basically, Tim laid it all down. Hey, this guy came in the office. He was, you know, he has a box full of items, you know, a whole bunch of stuff for Mr. Johnston. But, you know, he brought the gifts in and he was looking for Mr. Johnston, but Mr. Johnston wasn't there. He also mentioned the fact that the guy talked about, you know, bringing the foosball or the soccer stadium to the town. And, you know, he didn't know about that. So he reported all of that to the lawyer. Now, there is a statute that prohibits a public servant from accepting gifts for a variety of reasons. Among them are if the person given the gift is doing so when seeking to do business of any kind with the public service employee entity, which in this case is the city of Pikeville, which is the gift receiver's, what's his name, Johnston employee. So he does not supposed to be receiving gifts from this guy. Now, they said they tried to reach out to Lorello, who did not respond. But, you know, he didn't. Lorello has yet to respond to that email, making it seem that like maybe even Lorello may be in cahoots with Mr. Johnston, Garrett Johnston, in this takeover. Now, finally, he plans to get rid of Mr. Bickerstaff. Now, the Operation Clean Sweep, he talks about, you know, employees being dyslexic and not able to read meters. He claimed that another member that is employed by the town hall said that he was recovering from cancer and he was basically just here for the benefits. He attacked the town manager, Mr. Bickerstaff, by calling him a big lazy slob, which he also called him everything from dickless, spineless to a pushover, and he also inferred that it was something inappropriate about him adopting or, you know, taking in a foster child who's a 13-year-old boy, pretty much questioning his, you know, sexuality. But yeah, so, and he once again admitted that he was breaking the law, sharing personal information, but he wanted to be adamant about his Operation Clean Sweep, which wants to get rid of the town managers. And he said a process that, should the town board of commissioners vote to change the form of government, would involve firing nearly every person employed by the town. As I mentioned earlier, he plans to replace those with interns or volunteers, and he's not going to pay anybody. So what are you going to do with the money? You know, we all know what they do with the money. They put it in their pockets. But, you know, he wants to get rid of the public works employee, Bobby Hunt. He said they're going to create a new position. And when they create a new position, it's going to render his job useless, and that he has to apply for a different job within the town. And, you know, he won't be able to get it. Now, he said getting rid of Bickerstaff would be easier because the town manager works for the board. And since the town manager works for the board, they can fire him at discretion. So he basically uses, he said, we can wait for 3 or 4 months. We can do this anytime we want to. So when we decide we're done, he can wear the wrong aftershave one day and piss us off, and we can fire him. There's nothing he can do about it. And when asked why he wanted to fire Bickerstaff, he mentioned that he was a pushover. And of course, that's when you get the spineless, dickless comments. Now, Also, he stated that he was only elected because no one else was fit for the job. They stated that you know, they had they had one guy who had a warrant for beating his wife at Carly C's, and they had another person who was trying to apply who had 3 pending charges for embezzlement. So basically, like, if you apply for a town manager's position and you have 3 charges for embezzlement, that means that you know that, shoot, this is the position where I can put my skills to the test. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what they do in these positions. They embezzle, as we see Mayor Garrett Johnston trying to do. So he literally called my man Bickerstaff Chris Farley's twin. He said, I'm not hilarious. I'm not kidding. The guy is hilarious, but to employ him, though, that's out of the question. Chris Farley is, you know, the crazy, clumsy actor who, unfortunately, I think he committed suicide or overdose, you know, years back. But he was a very funny guy, so he compared him to him as well. There's once again, they said that if we change forms of government, we bump them down for 3 months. We're throwing a bone. I don't want to do it, and I certainly won't want to go over 3 months. He also said, you know, he's going to get rid of Donald Hill, and that's just the guy who's recovering from cancer because he loves to stir up trouble and poke the bear. Then he said Gabe gets up there, and he's a dyslexic. Usually not a good thing when reading your meter. And so this is, and then he was asked, okay, well, what happened if Bickerstaff, you know, when he loses his job, he just bought a house. Guy was like, that's not my problem. So all of this, and I may get my hands on the recording if y'all want me to, and I will break down, you know, those bits and pieces so y'all can hear it in real time. But all of this is once again evident of the small town government leaders and what they do with the power. Now, once again, we've all saw the problem with the Fremont town administrator stealing money, the current commissioner. We saw the issues with the Wayne County government, the sheriff department. Mount Olive, I understand, is under federal investigation. So all of these little small towns in Wayne County are used to doing what they want to with the people's money. As this guy mentioned, that most of the people in Pikeville are unaware of what's going on. Like, they didn't even, and I didn't even know that the state took their government over, because we don't pay attention to those things. But while we're not paying attention, these guys, these gals are, you know, running rampant, doing whatever they want to do with our tax dollars that's supposed to be going for the betterment of Wayne County and the particular towns that we live in, but they are using them for their own devices, their own pleasures. And so shout out to my man Ken Fine for exposing this in the June 30th edition of the Wayne Week. Like I said, I may do a more detailed, in-depth analysis of each individual conversation that we had. Now, keep in mind, that was a 4-hour conversation, almost like Donald Sterling and his girlfriend. You know, we have to hear those things in real time. Hopefully, maybe I can get a copy of that file and, you know, play you certain parts of the video live on air so you can hear that these are not just hearsay. You got to hear it in real time, too, because when you hear things like that and you hear people talking like that, then you know who's who. So I don't know what the county or city of Pikeville plans to do. I don't know what the county plans to do, because, of course, you know, he should have to answer to the county. I don't know how that works. But, you know, definitely he's a person is Trump-like in his endeavors and wanting to pretty much take over. You know, he says he's a hurricane. I'm taking over the city and, you know, making it great, making it great again. He might as well said that when he said, you know, we're going to take our town back from the poor people. What do you mean by poor people? Who are the poor people? and then we're going to make it trendy again. Once again, I've never heard of Pikeville, North Carolina being trendy. Nevertheless, I just wanted to do a quick update on that story. The Pikeville mayor, Garrett Johnston, called on tape, calling every resident everything but a child of God, members of the government. They got to go. The police chief is unfit. The town manager, he receiving gifts. He taking bribes. He doing a whole lot of nothing for a man in his position to be leading the town. A town that has already faced some financial difficulty and managerial difficulties in the past. So let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. My number 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all share and subscribe to the channel and like the video. Peace and love. 919-587-7782. Y'all enjoy your weekend. I'm out.